Hey folks, welcome to Butterfly Bricks. Hope you're all well. In today's video I'm showing you my Racing Garage MOC, which is a rebuild of the Friends Heartlake riding school and the Speed Champions mini rally garage set. I've kept the bulk of the dark red, brown and tan building of the riding school itself, and the whole structure has been taken apart and rebuilt with significant changes to create an entirely new purpose. I've lost the lilac colour as well, and the windows and stable doors of course too. The Friends riding school has quite a nice interior, and as with a lot of Friends sets, they're never a complete or closed off building. They're open at the back like a doll's house. And as some of you know, I like to do this too with my building type MOCs, as having an exposed roof is great for play purposes. The key for me is to add playability and play functions to a set or an original MOC, and I find if you enclose them, it's tricky for play. Around the front there's the main workshop entrance on the left where the horses used to go, and on the right there's a narrow entrance for smaller cars like this Mini to drive in and out. I've used a few Disney Pixar car elements like printed tiles, and there's a Lightning McQueen on the roof too. In the back here's an engine hoist, which is a totally custom build, and it was quite tricky for me to get right. There's a ramp on the right there which can take pretty much any LEGO City vehicle as well. And up top we've extended the workshop area with tools and supplies, and there's a wee office space for the staff and an elevator to get up and down. So here, let's take a closer look. The tall structure, as well as being an entrance, it doubles as a store for spare tyres, which can be accessed from either side with these doors. Probably more for human hands to access than LEGO ones, but hey, it works. There's quite a few motoring related tiles about the place, and all the Friends stickers that were on many of the roof slope parts have been removed. I finally found a use for that large Lightning McQueen flag too. The entrance is 12 studs wide, which is more than enough for large vehicles, and it's quite tall as well. I really wanted to incorporate one of those junior style Lightning McQueens as a sort of advertising thing on top, which rotates, and it looks okay. It's certainly garage related. And you can see just how much is going on in the back here, as it's all open of course. It's a busy scene with staff working on a few cars at the moment. From the other side there's a smaller entrance for another area of the workshop. The engine hoist is a cool build, and it isn't fixed here either and can be removed for making more space. Up top some nesting birds, and here's the back area where I've used the Speed Champions mini garage parts to good use. The mini set was an excellent set with two of probably some of the best cars they've ever done, and this little structure is great for adding to a larger garage scene. I especially like the mini branded printed tiles and the checker flag pieces too, which have come in handy here. And that red Mini Cooper is a thing of beauty in LEGO form. My engine hoist crane had to be strong enough to carry this block, and it would have been cool to make it into a working crane, but I'm not so fussed. It's made with a relatively simple hinge construction that is very rigid and doesn't have a working chain winch. But at least it holds the engine block still, and that's okay for playability. I've also built this custom air pump too. I love those old school hoses, which aren't seen so much in sets these days, but yeah, you can see how I've built it here. It's quite straightforward. Again, another wee side build that adds play value and opportunities for the kids to service the cars with. Oops, I'll just reattach this all back together. Oh, and the elevator, I'm really pleased with this. It's dead easy to make, with a column tower which has a simple Technic pin to clip this onto this like so. It took a bit of time to get the right height and make it all neat, but it was worth it, as it's a better way to get figures up here than on wee ladders that LEGO often add to sets, and I don't want to do that. The office has some smart posters and lots of other details like the filing cabinet, and in the upstairs workshop there's a workbench and a storage area for oil and lubricants and lots of other wee details too. There's an old school first aid kit, and I have a ton of these old Royal Dutch Shell branded bricks which look right at home here. You can see how smooth the elevator mechanism is here. Oh, and there's a staff toilet back here as well. That is an existing LEGO build which I've just pinched from our construction scene. The ramp area is built to take most LEGO City vehicles, and it's high enough for the minifigures to work on it and our hands too. The ramp is the perfect height for changing the tyres on loads of different city vehicles. My dad has a cool snap-on tool storage unit like this, and it's something I really wanted to build and include. The drawers don't open, but hey, it's got these studs on top for some tools at least. You can see the build here. It's very simple, studs on side and lots of plates, and I like the hinge parts as wheels, and it fits neatly on this side here. The problem with the ramp is these longer Speed Champions cars are a bit clunky on and off. They really need a raised jack, but it's okay, this is more for Lego City cars anyway. But we have this big hot rod MOC truck thing, which is totally oversized for a garage like this, and it's a bit too wide for most Lego City things. But it still fits. Oops, I knocked this over, but yeah, the garage can take a big vehicle too. And that's something which you can't do with the standard Lego rotor door mechanism that features in a lot of police and fire stations. On the other side here, the entrance is perfect for 6 stud wide cars. And it looks pretty realistic, and there's lots of space in here to work on the car as well. This side also has a paint mixing terminal for resprays, and you can see I've tried to keep that enclosure structure intact from the mini set. It works really well instead of a roof, and I like the use of the roller coaster track pieces, and I've continued the red colour scheme throughout. I also liked finding a use for those old school red fence pieces, and they are very effective as the upper level barrier here. It's Black Widow's Avenger bike in bits there. And there's not much plant life, but just enough for a bird's nest. And here's that tyre storage hatch again, with some old school wheels inside. The whole thing is a bit longer than a standard base plate, but you really need it to be bigger to have all that playability to be accessed. I had a lot of fun working within the constraints of this top area to make it as highly detailed a look as possible. There's still plenty of space for the figures to move around, and I enjoyed making little builds like the drill and the vise and the main workbench. The office had to have a TV and a cat poster too, and it's very basic, but it's just big enough for a figure to sit and chill out in. The Friends Riding School had a bedroom up here and just a table and chairs, so it's amazing what you can achieve in exactly the same space. If you have the Friends Riding School, it's a cool set, and its tan and red parts are so useful for something like this, and I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And also to give a more substantial use for the Mini Cooper Rally side build, which is also really cool. A few challenging builds for me like the engine crane and the elevator are totally worth it and add so much more function to the MOC. The new tuning shop from Lego is awesome. I love the sliding doors. There's a great selection of vehicles, but it is tiny, and yes, the crane on top is brilliant, but the actual workshop area has almost no detail or place for spare parts and equipment. And I think it's a bit expensive for what it is, and of course I love repurposing friend sets into things like this. I'm still finding my feet with YouTube, and I really appreciate it if you made it this far. So hey, I'd love to know what you think. Have you made anything similar? Do you like rebuilding friend sets into city ones like me? And hey, if you want to see more simple MOCs, money saving tips, and all the good stuff, then subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notifications button too. And click on this playlist here for more building MOCs. Bye!